Cody on the road again. You know we're riding on the road again. Oh, you know we're riding on the road again. We're riding to Yellowstone Park. Cody, we're going to Yellowstone National Park today to see the wolf doggies. Oh! The wolf doggies. Yellowstone National Park, baby, here we come. Cody slept in this morning, okay? That's why we're late. We're supposed to be going to Yellowstone National Park. We're supposed to leave at 6 o'clock. It's 5:45 right now. And the reason for that is the coaster. When in doubt, blame it on the dog. Yellowstone, super excited. Yeah. I'm in such a cool place right now in Livingston, Montana. It's freezing out. Actually, 2 days ago, I was in Butte, Montana, and my pipes froze. First time that's ever happened to me. All you people from the Midwest, East Coast, or even up here, I guess you know how that is, but I don't. Anyways, Yellowstone National Park, we're going. We're excited. Get ready. We're hopefully going to see a lot of wildlife, and we're pumped. Cody dropped a deuce. Hey, bud, how was it? And he already peed, so we're good. We're good to go. Jumping in the RV, and we're headed out. So good morning, and get ready for a good time at Yellowstone National Park. Buddy, you're white. We're here. Okay, before I take you on my journey through Yellowstone Park, let me tell you a little bit about the place. Spanning into areas of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, Yellowstone National Park is America's first national park and was established in 1872. Today it remains one of the most popular to visit, and for good reason. Few places combine so many wild attributes into one spot. Roaring geysers, huge waterfalls, deep canyons, expansive lakes, and unprecedented wildlife, including buffalo, elk, moose, bears, wolves, and bald eagles. Preserved within Yellowstone National Park, you will find the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, with its signature site, Lower Falls, as well as Old Faithful and the world's most extensive collection of geysers and hot springs. Since I drove through the north entrance to Yellowstone National Park, my first stop on my visit was Mammoth Hot Springs. At Mammoth, a network of fractures and fissures form the plumbing system that allows hot water from underground to reach the surface. The water comes from rain and snow falling on the surrounding mountains and seeping deep into the earth where it's heated. Small earthquakes may keep the plumbing open. After Mammoth Hot Springs, I went to Norris Geyser Basin Trail. I'm headed down to the Norris Geyser Basin. Not too sure what this is going to look like, but sounds cool, and it's right off the road. So here is the museum entrance. And it looks like it's closed. But, I'm going this way. Norris is one of the hottest and most acidic of Yellowstone's hydrothermal areas. It is part of one of the world's largest active volcanoes. Many hot springs here have temperatures above the boiling point, 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Water fluctuations and seismic activity often change the features. Norris is near the intersection of three major faults. One runs from the north, another runs from the west. These two faults intersect with a ring fracture from the Yellowstone caldera eruption 640,000 years ago. These conditions help to create this dynamic geyser basin. So I'm at the Norris Geyser Basin right now, and I feel like I'm in a war zone. This is insane. Look at all of these geysers going off. Breathe it in, Cody. That nice, fresh country air. Yellowstone National Park. He's loving it, man. Cody, you're loving it. Woo! Next up, I drove to the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, which was my favorite feature in the park. But before that, this happened on the road.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
What a sight to see. So random, but I guess when you're in the right place at the right time, you see some crazy things. Currently headed to the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. Well, the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone is roughly 20 miles long, measured from the upper falls to the lower falls area. The canyon was formed by erosion as Yellowstone River flowed over progressively softer, less resistant rock. Unfortunately, the trails to both the upper and the lower falls were closed, but there were a few good lookout areas that were still open. The 109-foot upper falls is upstream from the lower falls, and I was able to stand on the top of my RV to get a look. The 308-foot lower falls can be seen from the Lookout Point, Red Rock Point, Artist Point, brink of the Lower Falls Trail, and from various points on the South Rim Trail. The volume of water flowing over the falls can vary from 63,500 gallons per second at peak runoff in the spring to 5,000 gallons a second in the autumn. The view from the Lookout Point was breathtaking. This is a must-see if you visit the park. Next up on my trip, I went to the Fountain Paint Pot Trail. Along Fountain Paint Pot Trail, you will see various hydrothermal features that are expressions of Yellowstone's still active volcano. Within this geologic system, each type of thermal feature is represented. They can be grouped into two general categories: those with a great deal of water, which are hot springs and geysers, and those with limited water, mud pots and fumaroles. Despite their structural similarities, no two features are exactly alike. Well, after the Paint Pot Trails, I headed to a feature I really wanted to see, which was the Grand Prismatic. Now, it was tough to see because there was so much steam coming off the water, but it was still beautiful. At Grand Prismatic, extremely hot water travels 121 feet from a crack in the earth to reach the surface of the spring. The spring is deeper than a 10-story building. The hot spring has bright bands of orange, yellow, and green that ring the deep blue waters in the spring. The multicolored layers get their hues from different species of heat-loving bacteria living in the progressively cooler water around the spring. And the deep blue center is due to the scattering of blue wavelengths of light more than others, reflecting blues back to our eyes. At this point in the park, I was having such a great time, but I had one more stop, and that was Old Faithful. Old Faithful is located in Yellowstone's Upper Geyser Basin in the southwest section of the park. The geyser viewing area is the most accessible and visitor-friendly in the park, with bench seating, a large parking lot, and a ranger station that tracks the time, height, and length of an eruption to predict the next eruption. Old Faithful can vary in height from 100 to 180 feet, with an average near 130 to 140 feet. This has been the historical range of its recorded height. Eruptions normally last between 1.5 to 5 minutes. Along with the amazing features of this park are the wildlife that can be seen right off the road, and I was fortunate enough to see elk, deer, and bison on my trip. Let's take a little look. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed my trip to Yellowstone National Park. And if you haven't gone yet, you should definitely go. This place is amazing. Anyways, I'm off to my next adventure, so I will see you on the next one. And from me and Cody, please subscribe.